Hello and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. That's right, you're in my kitchen and I'm ready to cook, and I hope you're excited about today's recipe because I know I am. We're making today the Savoury Scone scrolls out of this amazing book number 3. I can't say it's my favourite because that would be unfair, but it's a fabulous one, and this is the actual recipe here we're making, and I think you're going to love it. So now, before we get into the recipe, let's talk about last week's show. It was a very popular show. Everyone was loving the chicken and bacon pasta bake. We had 3 winners from the show, and Joy Emmett is super busy about it. So is Leanne Hadley. And Belinda Bryan, winner. It was a chicken dinner, wasn't it? And they get a signed copy of the book. So, of course, you could be winning later in the show as well. So let's look at what we need for this recipe. First of all, I have preheated my oven to 220 degrees. So make a note of that. It's 220. All scones should be cooked in a hot oven, so that's just a tip for you straight up before we even get cooking. Now, I have preempted the filling because I really want to focus on doing the scone scroll and how to do it, because I think a lot of times people look at this recipe and go, oh no, that looks too hard to do. It's not. Once you've seen how I do it, I reckon you'll be making it a lot because it is a bit fizzy fabulous. So what I've got here is for the dough, the scone dough, you need self-raising flour, which is 2 1/4 cups. You need 30 grams or 2 tablespoons of Floralite margarine. You want 3/4 cup of skim milk and an egg white and cooking spray. So that's for the dough. Now for the fantastic savoury filling, you need a cup of diced 97% fat-free ham, 1/2 cup of shallots sliced, 1/2 cup of capsicum diced, and as well 1/2 cup or 50 grams of grated reduced fat cheese. And of course we've got the Parmesan cheese, a little bit of milk to go on the top as well. You put some Parmesan on there, and I think we're good to go. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to make the dough, and I'm going to just melt my Flora margarine first. So let's get that in the microwave. Let's do that for 20 seconds. Okay, so now with this recipe, it's just one of those ones that I think, it's just so delicious to have. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on gloves for this recipe because I don't like getting it all under my nails and in my jewellery, so you might want to do the same. Up to you. Am I a little bit precious? Maybe. All right. Okay. So that's looking good. Just leave that there. So what we first put in is the self-raising flour, and so I'm just going to sift that. Thanks for joining me today. Hello, I'm making Savoury Scone scrolls out of book 3. I'm so glad you're joining me, and I hope you're doing well wherever you are. I really appreciate you giving me some of your precious time, and hopefully you're going to be cooking up a storm this week with this fantastic recipe. I'm also going to just spray my tray. Let's get that out of the way. So it's done and ready. Okay, so now there's our flour. Now what you do is you get the milk and the egg, and we're going to combine it with the melted margarine. And so what happens is you pour the milk in there, and that will cool down the flora. And in that same jug, I'm going to put in my egg white. Now traditionally, this would be a lot higher in fat, because they'd use full-fat cheese in the mixture, the full-fat ham, milk would be the full-fat milk, you'd use the whole egg, so it's really actually probably double what mine is, because my version is a fabulous 3.6 grams of fat per scroll. All right, so I'm mixing that in. Give that a good mix, and in it goes. Now I'm just going to scrape out that little bit. Now this is a basic scone recipe if you're wondering, and if you love scones you'll be happy to know that in book 4 I do a lot of fabulous scones for you. Now we're just going to mix that in. And as I've said, I have preempted the filling because I just wanted to take more time doing the scroll recipe, you know, how to do it. Now, I always find with scone mix, you get to a point where you need to get your hands dirty. That's why, hello, that's why I'm wearing gloves. And I think it just makes it more easier just to get in and really give that mix a go. Oh, what a beautiful scone dough. That's ready. How easy is that? Hello. Yum. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to just put that over here because we're ready for the scones, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the mix together. So we're going to start with the capsicum, and remember you'll have to chop up half a cup. And I didn't want you to spend 3 hours watching the show, and that's why I've done this ahead. You know how to slice up the shallots. It tells you in the recipe that you have to slice or dice. There goes the ham. Now, if you wanted to make this vegetarian, you could replace it by putting in celery instead of the ham. All right, so let me just get rid of all my stuff into my soapy sink. Thanks for joining me today. We're cooking up the fabulous Savoury Scone Scrolls from book 3. Now what you do is you're just going to, oh my gosh, look at the vibrant colours of this. It is just beautiful. And look, there is another version in this recipe book. Oh, I've got to put the parmesan in, let's not forget that. The other version I have is, I'll show you in a minute, it's on the other page, in the same section, the baking, 2 tablespoons of parmesan, and I need that for the top as well. There's a little bit of ham, get back in there. And it's called the sweet scone scrolls. That's right, sweet scone scrolls. So say for example, you're thinking afternoon tea, oh, fruit. Bill just said to me, get your name right, it's fruit scone scrolls. Well, I call it sweet because this is the savoury. And imagine, you know, putting down on the table 2 of the scrolls, the savoury and the sweet, put the kettle on, how fabulous. There's our mix. And how you make the sweet one is, let me just show you. This is the recipe here. That's it there. And the difference is in the dough, you put a little bit of sugar, not a lot, I think it's like a tablespoon. And then in the filling, what it is, all it is mixing cinnamon, sugar and sultanas. Yes, fabulous. Okay, thanks for joining me today. If you are just joining me, where have you been, honey? Because like I've got my dough mix done, I've got my filling done. So what I'm making is Savoury Scone Scrolls out of book 3. Now I'm going to put some flour down, get my fabulous dough. It's called, the technical word is give it a bit of a mush up. Now the thing is, this is why I wanted to take a bit of time with you on how to do it properly. The key is with this recipe is it needs to be in a rectangle shape, that's the right word, and you'll have it this way. So I'm going to see how I'm just trying to press it out so it starts off. Just turn it over so we're getting all that flour. And this is where you're going to get your little trusty rolling pin. I think this is such a fun recipe, and I'll tell you what else, it's really fun to eat as well. So remember, we're wanting it to be in an oblong shape, and the measurements for it, and I've got my ruler here as well because I like to get it right, is 32 centimetres by 24 centimetres. Don't ask me what that is in inches because I don't have my inch rulers anymore. But see, push it in, because we don't want the end bits to be all scraggy and horrible. Keep that shape going. Now remember, you've preheated your oven to 200 degrees, no, 220, 220, come on Annette. And we want to get that edges still good. There we go. Sometimes I even just press it a bit to kind of manipulate the shape. Now let's see how I'm going. So it's supposed to be 32. So we've got about that much more to go, and this is 24. Okay, so now I know that it's a little bit more on here. See, this is where you just take your time. It really helps if you do have the ruler, and it's not being pedantic, it's just so that the recipe works, because you've got to put all that filling in and then you roll it up, so you want it to be right. This is looking a bit fantastic. Have you been impressed with me? I am impressed with myself. That's good. Well, it's a bit too wide. Bring it in a little bit. Okay, so now this is where the fun starts. Okay, we're going to put the filling into, or over, I should say, the scone mix. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Let me move my bowls into my soapy sink. All right, now what we do is the whole lot needs to be covered. So I don't want you to be given too much love to one side. I want it to go over the whole lot. See, like here that would be terrible, because this is not going to get any filling, and so the end bit will be a bit, missing out-itis, and we don't want that. So remember, you've got the capsicum in here, you've got shallots, you've got the parmesan, the cheese and the ham. If you wanted to, there's so many variations you could do. Like you could do chicken and pineapple with the shallots. That'd be nice. I think kids would love it. And this is a great recipe for lunch boxes, for little lunches, afternoon teas, morning teas. Even I like it with soup, or as I said, with a salad, and you've got friends over. It just is very impressive. Now I'm just making sure that there's not any bit that's feeling a bit left out. Perfect. All right, so now, are you watching me? Push it down. Because I don't say this in the recipe, and this is why we make magic here on a Thursday and Tuesday, because you get to know this little extra bonus things. And actually, I've got a question for you. I'm a sticky beak, you know that. I would love you to write in the comments where you're from, like what state, or if you're from another land, because there might be a few Kiwis and who knows else is watching the show, but I'd love to know. Put it in the comments what state you're from, and let's see, next Thursday I'll let you know who is the most popular state. Who do I get the most views from? And speaking about Kiwis, hello, this is where I got this recipe from. When I was visiting New Zealand, when my books were over there many years ago, they do this all the time. I'd never heard of it before. And so thank you, Kiwis. Love it. All right, you ready? We've got it done. I'm very happy with it. Now what we do is get our tray. And now just lift it up. Now it's a scroll, so it's about rolling it. And just lift the pieces up. It wants to be tight, okay? You want to be really tight with the mix. And just fold it in. Look, it's not hard, is it? Look at this, how much fun is this? Roly-poly, in we go. Just move it out a bit, once again, tight. Because it's a scone dough, it's very easy to work with. I make great scone recipes, I tell you, because I love them. Now, we're looking a bit fabulous here. Now, if you had any filling fall out, just shove it back in. But see what I'm doing here? I'm tidying the ends up. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to cut it. Got my little Neofam knife here, and it's supposed to be 32 centimetres, which it looks like it is. So I'm going to put this about in the middle, and I reckon, what do you reckon? I reckon that's halfway. Bill's given me a nod, so that's encouraging. So what you do, sharp knife, need a sharp knife. You cut it in half. Oh, yay! Now you're going to cut it in half again. And same with this side. Got it? Now you go in, and these are all to be cut in 3. So just look at it. Try and be as even as you can. I mean, for some reason, you always get some that will stand up a little bit taller than the others. It's kind of just home cooking, that's what I call it. All right, so now what you do is we're going to put it into a round shape. And because scrolls, it means they've got to be kissing each other, they've got to be touching each other. So let's start. So look at that. Isn't that fantastic? See how you've got the lovely scroll going on, and I can see the shallots, the capsicum, the ham and the cheese in there. How amazing. So we're putting 2 in the middle. And then see how that's a little bit flatter? I'm going to put that as the bit to go in the middle. Yeah? And I'll show you how to fix the sizes in a minute. So we've got 12 here, makes 12 scrolls. And you just pull them apart as you go. Oh my gosh, yum. Okay, so we're good. So there are our 12. Now what you do, and this isn't in the recipe either, so I'm glad you're watching today, is press it down. See how that flattens them? And that way they'll be more even. Now that wasn't hard, was it? Basically you chopped up some veggies and grated some cheese, made up a scone dough, rolled it up, and voila. Now the last thing we have to do is brush the top. You always brush the top of scones. So you've got 2 teaspoons. I think there's more than 2 teaspoons in here, but that's all right. 2 teaspoons of the milk. Or it doesn't actually say, does it? No, it's 2 teaspoons of the cheese. That's right. It just says milk to wet the top. Just use your pastry brush. If you don't have a pastry brush, see if your hubby's got an old brush, or no, a new brush that he's not used. You want an old one that's been painted. But paintbrushes work really well too. Or just use your fingers. Or paper towel. Could do that as well. Now I'm going to put it on 2 teaspoons, of the Parmesan Craft. And I put it in my hand so I can control how much I put on. And what I tend to do is I go down the middle. And that way each of them are going to get the right amount. You don't want one missing out, okay? And now we do the other side. And I've preheated my oven, as I've told you, 220 degrees. It will take about 15 minutes or so to cook. You might, depending on your oven, mine's a bit funny sometimes, so I turn them halfway. And you want a nice golden brown look to them. Here we go. All right, in we go. About 15 minutes. Hot oven. And I've made a mess, but that's all right. That's what I'm here to clean up afterwards. So now if you would like to win a copy of book 3 with the Scone Scrolls, well, get excited, because this is, I'll show you what they look. Oh no, I'll tell you this first. Okay, you have to do like, share, and then in the comments write hashtag Symply with a Y, number 2, Symply Too Good in the comment. And don't forget, I want to know what state you're from as well, because it's the challenge now. I wonder if Queensland will win. I don't know. All right, so Symply Too Good, and you'll go in the draw to win a copy of book 3, so you can make either the fruit or the savoury scrolls yourself. I mean, I've baked. Oh yes, I have. Here we go. There is my batch that I made just a little while ago. I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? Doesn't that look fantastic? And imagine putting that out as you've got visitors, or it freezes really well. And what I would do with that is I'd break them up and freeze them individually. But before we go, I think I need to show you. Voila! And I would, depends on what you like, you can slice it down the middle and put a little bit of Floralite margarine on, or have it on your own, especially if it's with soup. So there we go, another fabulous Thursday done. Thank you for your support. Now, next Tuesday, I'm going to be in the kitchen making another great one out of book 3. I'm loving the book 3, and it's the cheese and spinach bread dip. So the ones where you open the middle up and you put the filling in and you dip and dip. Get the recipe off the website. It's there for you. Get the ingredients and let's make it together, because it is a party in a mouth on that one, I'm telling you now. And it's so much lower in fat and healthier than the traditional version. But next Thursday, I'm doing something for Father's Day. That's right. What can I do that my Billy loves? And it's called cookies and cream baked cheesecake. Yes, he loves it. So I'm making it on Thursday so then I can keep it for Sunday for him. And that's out of book 6. So we've got lots to look forward to next week. In the meantime, take care and enjoy your scrolls. Bye now.